I created this really awesome office accessory with the charging station included. So first, what you're going to need is a corkboard. I got this one from IKEA, wooden boxes. The two big ones, I only actually ended up using one of them for this project. Some styrofoam, hot glue, gold contact paper, or metallic gold contact paper, and some paint. So first, you want to take your box with the lid and you just want to undo the screws that the box comes with. I actually saved my screws because you never know when you're going to need tiny screws again, okay? The small portion of the box would be kind of dope for, holding, lower level things like Post-its or something like that. So I'm going to use a piece of wood. This I got from Michael's as well. And you are going to put your styrofoam inside your medium-sized box. And I'm going to measure how long the piece of wood should be cut, so it can support the phone once you want to start charging it and everything. So then I just use my miter saw and I cut an angle. Now be careful, you might need some adult supervision with this one, but I cut an angle so it could fit into the foam properly. I don't think you really necessarily have to do this, but it was just easier for me mentally. And then I just cut where the line where I made my mark, and now I have my piece that will hold my phone, and I made sure that it went all the way down to the base of the phone. So now you have your corkboard, and you are going to measure the height of which you want your design. I decided to do a simple triangle, very Pinterest inspired design and very simple at the same time. And I'm just going to create a triangle with my ruler. And then I just take my box, my tallest box, and I realized I didn't like the height or where the triangle would be, so I just retraced out my triangle, make it a little taller, and it's as simple as that. Then you're going to take some painter's tape and some extra cardboard, and you're going to tape off your shape. Now, I'm showing you spray paint. Do not use spray paint. This was a mistake. I shouldn't have done it. It bled through. Bad idea. So I'm just going to take some old white paint that I have from painting the house, paint my boxes and everything. And then after you get done painting, you are going to line the inside of your boxes, and this is how you line your boxes. So I just took previous measurements of the inside of the box, and I traced those measurements out onto my gold contact paper. I cut everything out, and then I just used the same traced cutout to get other pieces, because I knew I was probably going to need that exact same size for other pieces. And then I'm going to fit and measure everything to make sure that it's right size. And you can definitely trim things down a little bit if they don't fit. Take off the backing of the contact paper and just stick it onto the inside of your box. And that's the first piece. And then you do all four sides, and then I do the bottom last. Smooth it out, and then you have a perfectly lined gold shiny box. So now it's time to do the charging station. I am going to line up where I want to mark for the wood and just create a straight line. And then you want to take an X-Acto or a regular knife, I use both, and just cut along the line of where you want it. Now at this point, guys, I'm actually figuring this out as I go, so it's kind of might just look a little crazy, but I ended up having to do two lines because the same width as the piece of wood, which is probably a 1/4 inch thick. And my main intention was to create a slit for the wood to come in and keep the piece whole, but once I realized that I cut it on an angle, it wasn't going to come out like I thought it would. So I'm just going to proceed to, keep trying to figure this out with a knife so I can get all the way down in there. And please be careful when you're using this knife. It's not coming out. So plan B. Here we go. So I just decided to cut my whole thing completely in half, and then just cut out the chunk. I already created the line, so it was cut pretty evenly and straight. So I just cut that little chunk out, and once I put it back together, hey, there goes my box. And then I put my wood in between, and therefore I have a perfect little resting area for my foam. I put it in the medium-sized box, and everything fit properly. So now I'm just going to go ahead and measure out my foam, because I want to cover those pieces in contact paper as well, so it can all kind of look, gold and metallic, and kind of have some contrast against a lot of the white that I have for the whole office accessory corkboard combination. So I'm just going to measure my seam allowance around it, and then I'm going to cut out the entire piece. And it's it's just like wrapping a really misshapen present. Saying that is my description for everything. I feel like, just wrapping a misshapen present. I really don't have any instruction on how I wrapped it. I just kind of wrapped it like a regular present, and then just folded it in size and I use hot glue. You're gonna see me use hot glue because this really doesn't stick that well to styrofoam, but hot glue will keep anything down, I promise. Especially this contact paper. So wrapping it like a present, and then folding it over, and then like that part wouldn't stay properly. So I got some hot glue. And I just used some pieces to do the back, hot glue the sides down, and that's pretty much it. With the back piece, you don't have to really cover the inside because the foam or the wood, the wood will be in that spot. And then you're going to take your finished wrapped back piece and your wooden piece and then your front piece. Now next time I do this project, I'm going to figure out a way to keep these pieces attached, but for the sake of my sanity, I just wanted to, and it looks cute. It looks super duper cute. And so that is the charging station. So now it's time to put the cord in. So I just made 2 marks to know where the, little port should go. And I used my X-Acto knife to cut out the paper and to have an accurate cut for the porthole. And then I used a knife to create a vertical line from that little porthole at the top all the way down the bottom, so now the cord can fit snugly and easily into the little section. And then I'm going to use a small drill bit, which I had measured out where the porthole would be on the wood, because the wood goes all the way down, so you need to have some wood cut out at the bottom. And first I used a saw. That was stupid. Don't do that. Just use your drill and just kind of maneuver a lot of that wood out, and it'll create a nice little rectangular hole for you. And then I'm going to create another hole on the very back of the box so the cord can now come out. You're just going to use your small drill bit, and you're going to create 3 holes. And then once I created those 3 holes, I just kind of took my drill and I went back and forth to create a long, oval shaped hole. And then you want to take your cord, feed it through the back. Take your back piece and then feed it through the bottom of your back piece, which you created that little slot there with your knife. You're going to take your wood, you're going to put it through the hole, making sure the cord is going through all the sections, and it should be fine if you create all the holes. And then you want to do the same for the front. And then I just tested out. I haven't glued anything down because it's good now and it doesn't work. You're going to be mad. And there we go. We have my little charging station already to be glued down and secure. So I'm going to take the box, and now what I have to do is I have to create a hole to go through the corkboard. And the marker would not fit, so I just took some push pins and I made, 2 little spots for my push pins where I knew I would drill. I would take my drill and I create this really messy looking hole, but you don't see it, so it's fine. And just to make it a little bit bigger, just take the drill and go back in. So now I have the hole. I line up my hole in my box with the hole in my corkboard, and then you're going to use your hot glue to glue the box to the board. And it's easier to do it while it's standing up, so it could be completely leveled with the board. and I take the top that was on there, and that is the middle section where I'm going to use like to put like post-its and little things that are flat. And this is the last box that I attached for my markers and my pens. And so now it's time to feed your charger through the back and just kind of secure everything down. You've already fitted it, everything looks good, everything works. So now I just want to put hot glue in the bottom and just start putting everything together. And I am pretty much all done. Just going to hook everything up and make sure it works, and it works perfectly. And so there you have it, guys. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed this tutorial. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hey homies, you can find more DIY tips and tutorials at thehandyhomegirl.com, and stay up to date by subscribing to my blog and my YouTube channel. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and Instagram. See you later, guys. Bye.